activate!
Yes, action activate! Hello there and welcome. It's me, Gazbot, better known here as the Gazbot Knight. And with me as always, although sometimes late, is the Dawg Defender, who is one of those times late. I have received confirmation he's on his way, but where we live there is a ton of rain and it is affecting traffic. So unfortunately, we're going to fly solo. Well, not solo because you're here with me, lovely viewers. Thank you live and later on YouTube. Looks like we got a few people. Dolly Girl in chat. Hello, Dolly Girl. I'm going to go to a one-shot since he's not here. Not a Bigdawg one-shot, a Gazbot Knight. There we are. It's me, focusing in. I am here. It looks like we got Matt Kendall Clark and a few other people hanging out. So thank you to everyone checking us out as always. Last week we missed a week, and that is my fault. I went on a trip to Florida, and I thought I might still be able to stream. Maybe not with all the bells and whistles, but just sort of me and the Bigdawg chatting, and I wasn't able to get it working. So the real Babu finally. Sorry for the wait there, brother. And then we were one day late because I got in late last night, too late to do a show. So today is my first day back, and boom, we're hitting it with the show. And let's see. Oh, thank you very much. We got Habahubug with a host. I appreciate that. Thank you kindly. And I'll put up a link to, heyo, Bahabug. I'm going to put up a link to in the chat for our Facebook page. For those that don't know, we now have an Action Activate Facebook page. You could go on there. It's open 24/7, so that if you want to chat, post links about Power Rangers, etc., that is a good place to do it. Meanwhile, what are we doing today? Well, today, again, we don't have, boy, that chat is hanging on my face for a long time. There it goes. Today, we don't have a lot of well, we don't have a new episode to go over, but we do have a lot of news to go over because we missed a week and a lot of things have happened, some good, some bad. But first things first, while we're waiting for the Bigdawg, I'm going to announce the winners. We had a small giveaway last week, and we had not a lot of entries, which is good for you guys, and I think our winners are here. So I already showed, you know what, I don't have it handy. I do have it handy, but I don't want to leave the camera space. But we had an art print of Quantum Ranger done by Steve Blue, and the winner of that is going to be Dolly Girl. Dolly Girl 15, you win a art print of the Quantum Ranger, and shipping is included. I will need to get the address from you. Don't post it publicly. I'll talk to you later. If you're on the Facebook page, I'll get in touch with you there, or you can Instagram it to me because I think you know my Instagram. Then the winner of the pins and card prize packs is the man of the hour, Matt Kendall Clare, who wins that. So same thing. I will need an address to send it to you. There will be no cost. I will pay the shipping cost. Don't put it publicly. I'll get in touch with you later so that we could figure out all the nitty-gritty details. So congratulations to our winners. I'm not going to do a giveaway this week, but we'll probably do another giveaway next week because I have a few more things kicking around that Power Ranger related that I've picked up over the years and conventions and things that if I'm not using them, why not give them out to you guys? Chat's happy for the winners. Awesome. Yeah, sorry, Bahabug, you were in the running too, but you did not win. I apologize. Better luck next time. I'm going to go ahead and the Power Ranger big show here. All right, looks like Bigdawg's still not here. Well, last week I didn't have any new Ranger art. Up here is where I usually put the Ranger art I'm working on. I am working on one now. I'll go ahead and put that up, and it is Wildforce Silver. It's not done, and this is going to be a quick, it's just going to loop over and over again because I did it on my iPad on the plane while I was on my vacation, or on my way to and from my vacation, I should say. So it still needs to be inked and colored. That will be my next print eventually, but I'm working on that one, yeah. So there you go. That'll run up there, and Bigdawg? Nope, I thought I saw the Bigdawg coming in. So there's a bunch of news to go over. Let's see what we got. Let me check chat real quick before I get into the news. Looks like a lot of congratulations going around. Bahabug, all good, win some, lose some. Matt Kendall Clare, Lunar Wolf or Merrick? Yeah, Lunar Wolf, Merrick. Wildforce Silver, otherwise known as Lunar Wolf, otherwise known as Merrick. I have already actually done Zanaku, and which is his sort of arch enemy, and a lot of people have asked me, why didn't I do him? And I don't remember why. I think I was doing a thing a year or so ago where every day of the week I was doing a villain, and so somebody requested Zanaku, and I did Zanaku, and I like wolf kind of characters anyway, so it worked out. But why I never did the hero version, I don't know, but that'll be the next one I complete. And actually, you can see here, I was working on a hand in front of the face. I ended up abandoning that because it just didn't match the rest of it. But I digress. That's my art news, but that is not news in general. Let me check my notes here real quick. So I don't like to get into spoiler territory, but there has been a lot. Yeah, the real Babu, yay villains. Well, the last time I had a iPad work that just sort of looped over and over again because it wasn't a very long video was when I did Babu after meeting the real Babu. So I have actually met the actor who plays Merrick, but it was a while back, not recently. So this is just I don't know. I felt wolfy. So what I was gonna say is oh, I totally lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I got so excited about villains. Let me look at my notes. Okay. So we don't like to get too spoilery here, but there's a long hiatus before Beast Morphers comes back, and there's a lot of rumor about a crossover episode and an anniversary thing, because there's footage in the Sentai. And as we talked about last week, Austin St. John, the original Red Ranger, is most likely coming back in some shape or form. There was a rumor that some other Rangers were going to come back, all unconfirmed, but one thing that kind of was confirmed. I'll talk about this because it's a confirmation of something not happening, so it's an anti-rumor, if you will. The anti-rumor is the Dino Thunder Rangers, which were on Disney when Tommy came back as the mentor figure. There was a rumor that they were going to come back, but it's sort of been confirmed that actors are not coming back. Whether or not those suits show up in some way, shape, or form, who knows, but the actors are confirmed and not be coming back. So kind of a bummer, but as I said, it's an anti-spoiler. Since it's not happening, I feel comfortable saying it. And let me see what else we got. There's more I could go into about that and other rumors, but again, I don't like to talk about things that are unconfirmed, and I don't like to spoil too much because half the fun is finding out what happens. But regarding Beast Morphers, as many of you know, they're done filming. We're barely halfway through the first season, and they did confirm there's 44 episodes, so it's probably going to be a regular season and then a super season, or a regular season and then, the next. Some people speculated that Zyuohger would be adapted, so they'd get two suits similar to Megaforce and Super Megaforce. Will that happen? I don't know, but they made 44 episodes with this cast. That's been confirmed, and we've seen 8, and they're done. They did 44 episodes in 9 months, which is crazy. So you see all the actors sort of wishing tearful farewells and saying goodbye for the great run, and we've just barely started the season, which is kind of an interesting thing the way social media is nowadays. Let me go to the one shot again and check chat because I feel like I've been missing some. Let's see. People saying hello and blah, blah, blah. Lunar Wolf. Matt Kendall, Claire, Gaz, I don't know if you're aware of this, but be careful of possible spoilers since a French station appears to be airing new episodes next month. I was unaware of that completely, and I will be careful of that, and I guess we all should. But, well, that's kind of a conundrum because I prefer to watch, the legitimate way through Nick or the Nick app or a streaming service that is sanctioned. But I guess if it's being released in a French station, which presumably the French station has the rights to, and then it shows up later, I don't want to get spoilers. I guess that's a bridge I'll cross when I come to it, and everyone's going to have to make their own decisions. But thank you for the heads up. But I don't know. It's one thing if I stay off the internet for a week before the ending of Game of Thrones. It's another thing to stay off the internet for months until it comes back. Pardon me while I take a sip of my soda. This week we're sponsored by Diet Right Pure Zero Cola. That's right. When you want no caffeine, no sodium, and no sugar, Diet Right. It's cheap too. It's one step above brand you would get from a food store. So let's see. Baja Bug. Did the Red Ranger from Ninja Store die recently? He did. That was another news. I was going to wait for the Bigdawg to get into. It's kind of, it's not happy news, but it is, it's something happening that is worth discussing, obviously. The actor's name, who I will mispronounce. Actually, I have a little image I could put up here real quick because I did plan on talking about it. This is the actor we're talking about. And the pronunciation of his name, I'm going to get wrong. I apologize. I believe it's Pua Magasiva. And it's he died, I think, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago at the most. He was 38. He was the lead ranger in Ninja Storm, which was he was the Red Ranger. The character's name was Shane Clark, and there was a lot of firsts in that season, which a lot of people have been talking about. He's Samoan. He was the first Samoan Power Ranger. I think he was the first Samoan Power Ranger at all, but certainly the first Samoan Red Ranger. He was the first on the full Disney season. Wildforce was sort of a hybrid season. He was the first to be on a starting 3 Ranger team, just 3. There's Sentai that did it before, but it was the first Power Ranger team. And I never met him. I don't know if he did a lot of conventions. I mean, since I've been going to conventions, I haven't seen him. He lives in New Zealand, and he's also been on a show called, I think it was called Shortland Street, which is a soap opera in New Zealand that's very big there. So I wasn't aware of it, but that's what he's been doing. So maybe he's been too busy working to be able to do a lot of conventions, which is a shame because a lot of his American fans didn't get a chance to meet him, and he didn't get a chance to, kind of feel the love that a lot of Ranger actors talk about not knowing is out there for them. But he was 38. He had a wife. He had 2 kids. But everything I've heard about him, second, third, fourth hand, was that he was a very nice guy, very professional actor, well liked, and it's a tragedy that he's gone. It's a tragedy when anyone's gone, but so young and with children still at home and everything else, and still, actively acting on a show like it's he seemingly had everything going great, but you never know what's going on behind the scenes, and so unfortunately he's no longer with us, and I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it's terrible. I didn't know him personally, but obviously his loss is felt not just by the Ranger community, but by his family and his New Zealand fans as well. Beyond that, I don't have any answers or insight any more than anyone else does, but you're right. I did feel it was worth mentioning. Yeah. So anyway, moving on from that news, let me see if I can find something a little bit more upbeat. Sorry. You see, this is where having the big dog here helps, because when he's talking, I'll be looking at my notes and figuring stuff out, like where we're going next. But now you're watching me kind of, oh, hold on one second, everybody. So let me go to a one shot here again. So I did the contest. Okay, so toys, wave 2 of the Beast Morpher toys. That's these guys, not the legacy, not the lightning line, but the regular line. We're expected to get Roxy and Jax and a few other characters, including, I think, a powered-up version of the Red Ranger, which we saw at Toy Fair a while ago. And I don't know if there was an actual release date given, but people have been showing pictures of them, specifically the actress that plays Roxy, with her figure being happy to, show people, hey, look, Ma, I got a figure, which is awesome. So I don't know if they're released in New Zealand or somebody found them somewhere else, but they are out there somewhere. So if you're looking for them, Target was where I had a good luck finding all the other ones, but they do exist. Start hunting. Meanwhile, on the Lightning line side, which is the $20 6-inch, more adult collectible, we knew there was another wave coming because there was only 4 came out so far. Lord Zed still being impossible to get. Supposedly they're re-releasing him in a couple weeks. I have a pre-order at GameStop, but he might.
End of the month, I believe.
Oh boy, what's going on? Interloper.
I didn't want to cut you off.
Big Dawg Defender showing up, battling the storm. What's going on, dude?
Not much. Apologies for the delay, everybody in the Ranger Nation, but glad to be back. It feels like it's been longer than 2 weeks, but
it's been a week and a day, I believe, because I think we missed 1 week and we should have done one yesterday, but we're doing a late one to make up for it. So it has been less than 2 weeks, but it feels forever.
Yeah. I'm not sure too much of what I missed, but in regards to the Lightning line, I'm assuming you were segueing into the in-hand photos that we saw of the
Beast Morpher Red.
Beast Morphers Red. Thank you.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, I was gonna say, similar to Toy Fair, not too much different. I think the head sculpt looks good. I need to double check on the hair. It may be slightly different than what we see most of the time on the show. It could just be my bad memory, but
that it does look a little bit bigger, maybe, but that could also be based on like promotional shots or whatever. I think it looks a bit better, the likeness a bit better than the Tyler license on the Dino Charge, which disappointed me that I don't think he looks like the actor that much, and also. When I think of Brennan Mejia, who plays Tyler in Dino Charge, he's a very smiley guy, and the character is very smiley. Like, he could be serious, but like, and I said this before, like, I think that the likeness is mediocre, and he has this really grim look on his face, which doesn't fit the character. Whereas I think the likeness, maybe is about the same, maybe slightly better on Rory, but he has a kind of like a more intense look, which fits Rory's look a little bit more. I mean, not that he doesn't smile, but he just, I don't know, fits his personality a little better.
It's unfortunate we got Doggy Kruger in the first wave because he is the perfect head sculpt.
Why is that unfortunate?
Because he set the bar so high that, like, even though compared to what we're used to with flip heads and things like that, the heads aren't perfect.
Right.
But his is, I couldn't have asked for a better one. If you put that same head on an SH Figure Arts body, I would have been like, oh yeah, that's probably a online exclusive and like $100. No, like I don't remember if I told you, but I got a Shadow Ranger recently, and he is So good.
I
Just
didn't know that you got him. I already had him. I agree with you. I'm gonna go two shot here. I agree with you, but two points I would make about that.
mhm.
One is if you put it on SH Figure Arts, you would know it wasn't an import because they based it more on the American version, which is a little bit more alien reptilian, a little less fuzzy. So
True.
it's nitpicking, but I just felt it was worth pointing out.
The point I was going for is assuming it was the same in both.
Hmm.
The quality is higher than I think we're used to at the
Right.
price point.
Yes, agreed, completely agree. But the other point is uh, an alien or a robot likeness is much, 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 much easier to get than a human likeness.
Oh, 100% agree.
Yeah, and so even if he came wave 3, 4, whatever, he was still going to look really great because, yeah, there's something about the human face. It's a little bit harder to get sort of those intangibles that create a personality. And as humans, we really know what humans look like, even if we're not sculptors and artists ourselves. An
Yeah.
alien, a robot, you can get away with a lot more. So
Yeah.
that doesn't
No,
mean he's
that
not a
would,
good figure, though.
I think it's something we're all aware of once we see it, but unconsciously, I think if he was released in wave 2 or 3, I would have been arguably more hyped up with what we got now and then been like, "Oh my gosh, did you see how they
Uh,
changed the game with Shadow Ranger?" But in
possibly.
regards to just things coming up, did you talk about San Diego Comic-Con at all?
No, but real quick, I just want to address what Matt's saying. 3 out of 4 Lightning figures hadn't found Zed. Just to reiterate, most people haven't found Zed. There was a lot of
Yeah.
weirdness in the beginning. There is a pre-order at GameStop. I don't know if they're still taking them, but it's not out yet, so you could try. They're not taking it anymore. Well,
I'm not I'm not sure. It's the GameStop that I pre-ordered at, because of my pre-order experience and the manager of that specific store. I'm not going to that GameStop anymore, like
okay.
at all. But I have kept hoping GameStop, and whether I want to or not, I need to buy stuff from there that are exclusive. I have found another that I think has a little more insight when I ask specific questions like this. But
Right.
the frustration I had of not having Zed and then having to inform them of the current update was just something that on that day was not ideal for me specifically.
Well, I think we've both had the experience of having to tell GameStop what they carry, which is very annoying.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from it being primarily a video game store that is sort of transitioning into a collectible store.
Yeah.
And some of the people that work there like don't care and don't like I like video games and whatever. It's cool to like video games, but you should still know your inventory. But whatever, we're not here to bash GameStop.
True.
Um, but the point is, Lord Zed is getting a second release through GameStop.
Mhm.
Possibly he'll be released through other mainstream outlets, so keep your eye out. That'll be, I think, the 26th of this month. Is that accurate?
Roughly
Yeah,
sometime either this week or next week at the latest, I believe,
right.
is when it should come. If for some reason I get a call, because the GameStop I went to claims they'll call me when it comes in, whether or not that's true, we'll see. But if I get a call, I'll actually post it in the Action Activate group just to let people know,
Sounds
for
good.
those that
Which I
aren't up to date on it.
and I mentioned that earlier, and I just put the link up again. It's our Facebook page for those that don't know. Okay, I already awarded the prizes. You missed that. That was Dolly Girl and Matt Kendall Clare won the
Oh,
two
awesome!
prizes.
Congratulations to the both of you.
I did talk about Pua, who died
Oh,
recently a little bit. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add to that. I kind of went over it a bit, but if
nothing I want to add. What I did, I guess, with the situation overall, it did seem like it brought a lot of the Ranger community together, and I saw it in other outlets as well. Kind
right,
of the ripple effect of, like, maybe it was on Comic Book News or some other adjacent site had brought it up, which to me just showed kind of the impact of when someone in Power Rangers passes or something happens, that other fandoms are aware and everybody is connected to Power Rangers in some way, whether they fully realize it or not. So it was nice to kind of see that positivity from various sources, and wish him or wish his family the best.
right.
And also, I know we had recently found another Ninja Storm actor specifically had passed last year that we were just
Right.
unaware
I
of.
forgot to mention that. I don't have his name in front of me, but the gentleman who played the villain, I'm
The
blanking.
villain and the mentor.
And the mentor, yeah. Which is funny because I did not know that until I heard about his death, and I liked the mentor character quite a bit and didn't like the villain very much. So but it's still a testament to their acting ability that I didn't realize
Exactly.
it was the same person. So good on
Yeah.
them. Um, Actually, something I forgot to mention that I've seen people posting a lot about Ninja Storm was there was a quote that Pua had as the Red Ninja Storm Ranger, and it's funny. Well, it's not funny. It's
Oh,
coincidental that I had just got done watching the season for the first time, and I said it wasn't one of
mhm,
my favorite seasons. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't my favorite. But the quote people have given a lot, and I did like this part. It was towards the end of the series. They were getting beaten. They lost their powers, and they were losing. And he said, "Hey, we may not be Power Rangers, but we still have power." And then they get up and fight, and
mhm.
that's always great when the civilians, it's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
they're gonna get not never give up." And so I did like that, and I've seen a lot of people posting it all over. And again, that's one of those things, you're right, that crosses over not just Power Ranger, but like in superhero fandoms or wherever else, you see a lot using that exact quote and that exact image, which is cool.
Mhm.
So let me check chat real quick. Let me turn this off.
Matt
Uh,
Kendall Clare had mentioned some updates that a lot of the Ranger actors had shared kind of their condolences as well in regards to Pua's death.
True. Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying. I have so many things open right now. I'm trying to switch off. Um, was that all there was in chat? I missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that's what I have so far. And then one thing I did notice, which I'm hoping isn't related in the same way that I think it is, but I did notice in the Ranger groups there has been a large influx of Ninja Storm stuff being sold, which always just gets me a
Oh,
little bit.
like trying to
Whenever I,
cash in on the
yeah,
tragedy. That's gross.
yeah,
That's
like
gross.
whenever I see, I know it happened when Stan Lee passed. A lot of people just were buying things up, and to be fair, in the instance of Stan Lee, I actually ended up buying a Stan Lee Funko Dorbs just because I didn't want to miss out on it, and I had felt uh, just getting something in regards to that. So on that aspect, I understand. But when people are kind of over I don't even want to say overutilizing. That's too nice. Taking advantage of the situation,
Yeah.
it's not something that I'm a huge fan of.
I agree. I hadn't really seen that much, but that is, yeah, it's gross. I just think it's gross.
Hmm. And
Um,
Matt Kendall Clare said Grant McFarland
yep.
was the actor's name for both Lothor and Sensei. For
Kanoi Watanabe.
oh, and he was in Samurai and Super
I
Samurai.
I did know, again, I didn't know this previously, but I had heard that, which is cool, and I know exactly that character too because Samurai is one of my personal sentimental favorites, even if it's not a popular season. So thank you for
Yeah.
that information. Let me see what other news. Was there any news that you wanted to talk about? Because I've been going on the news since before you got here.
Nothing immediate. Oh, a couple character updates with Legacy Wars. We do get Beast Morpher Red, which is nice, and
Oh, that's fast.
I don't remember if we had another character since last time. Possibly, if I missed it, I apologize. But that's rolled out. Story mode for Battle for the Grid is out, and I haven't heard anything about it yet, either good or bad. I just haven't looked into it to be honest. But
Gotcha.
there's that, and then not news now, but news potentially very soon as this week is
Oh,
this week. San Diego Comic Con reveals for merchandise and exclusives has begun to trickle out. So they've done it with some Bandai items for Dragon Ball Z specifically,
right.
or I guess just the Dragon Ball franchise. And just curious your thoughts and the rest of chat's thoughts of what they're hoping or thinking some of the Ranger exclusives might be.
Well, that'd be from Hasbro now, not Bandai, right?
But here's the thing:
Oh,
you could still have premium Bandai Solid Shogogen
well, so
items.
it would not be Power Rangers, it would be Sentai. That
Correct.
would be
So
branded
Power
such.
Rangers and or Sentai adjacent that we could have from Bandai. We can
Right.
have obviously Hasbro exclusives that I cannot wait to see what they are. Regardless of what they are, I'm getting them. But
Right.
I'm so amped. Also from Boom Studios, I know every year they've come out with exclusive covers,
Right.
some better than others. I actually have an example next to me of one. I believe this was one of them from last year, and
Okay.
this is the Pink Ranger.
Hold on, let me give you a one shot for that. All right.
I'm blanking on which issue it is off the top of my head, and it's one
Mhm.
of those where, wow, the art looks so great. If only I knew what it was for. Uh,
Right.
but this was one, and then another thing that seems slim, but is something I'm curious about. There's a new company that came out in the last year to 2 years called Figpin, and I have an example
Oh,
right
right.
here of a Captain America
The
pin from
tilted a
Infinity
little bit
War.
because the gloss, the shine.
Is that better?
Eh, good enough, I guess.
Okay. Apologies for the glare.
Yeah.
But they are very shiny and cool. But if they were
To do
to
like a
get
Lord Draken or
a
something.
Power Rangers license, I buy it in a heartbeat. So that's one
Just what you
team.
need. One more thing, one more line to have to
Exactly,
collect.
just more stuff.
Well, they're almost definitely going to have some exclusive pops and quite possibly a Power Ranger, like a
I don't
metallic or
know.
something maybe. I mean, they did last year with the I mean, it was sort of a shared exclusive, but they had the metallic Megazord pop, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
So they had that was either last year or the year before, and
that was
then
last year.
they've had San Diego Comic Con exclusives for Funko Fun Day events,
Hmm.
where it's their mascot Freddy as Rangers. They've had four so far: red, black, blue, and white.
I didn't even know that, but that makes me think that they're going to keep going until they get all the main colors.
You'd think, but I don't remember the last time they did one. I think it's been multiple years now.
Oh, okay.
But
Well,
yeah. Anyways,
so
uh,
but
go for
your original question was what would people want to see? Because they haven't announced the official things from either Hasbro or Bandai yet.
correct.
For me, when it comes to Bandai, the Soul Shigokin, we didn't get the Legacy Shogun Megazord, where the one where it looks kind of like a house.
Mhm.
And I would have liked to have got that. I like big robots, like that. That's my jam. And the Thunder Megazord is one of my favorites, so to have it to go with them.
Mhm.
So if there was a Soul Shigokin version of that, that would excite me the most. I know they did a mini Pla, but I'm not super into that kind of stuff because you have to build them, which is hard, and I don't have the time or the
Mhm.
ability. And they're a little too small. So my top from Bandai would be that. From Hasbro, we kind of touched on this a little bit before. I would love some sort of civilian character, or if not that, maybe a villain that we weren't going to get, like maybe like a Babu or a Squat or somebody like that. You know, that
Mhm.
maybe they didn't put out already. But at the same time, I would hate to have a main character like that be only an exclusive. So
Mhm.
I guess for me, I'd be happy with either. But for average people that don't get to go to that show, I think a civilian would be better because you could live without a civilian version of a character if you need to.
True.
What
And
about you?
I forgot last year about the shared exclusives for the Legacy Collection
The
because
silver, Psycho Silver,
there was Psycho Silver, there was Psycho Green, and there was
Black
it
and Gold Megazord, Dragonzord, or something?
no, I thought it was the metallic movie Megazord Build-A-Figure.
Uh, I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
One of those. But if
Well,
they
so what are you
did
looking for? Yeah, this year. And in chat, if you have any ideas, not that we have any influence, but feel free to throw them out if you had anything you were hoping to see.
Mhm. What I would say, gosh, th- honestly, there's so many that I can think of. I mean, if they were to do the exclusive for a comic character, I'd be happy that it's going out, but sad for those that may not have the
Right.
easiest access to get it. So it's one of those catch 22s where I empathize with those who can't go and hope it's not so great that they miss it. But
Right.
on the other hand, I'm like, oh, if this is their only chance to make it, I really hope they make it. Like
What are you
Psycho
hoping
Rangers
for? Solar
was a
Ranger?
perfect. Solar Rangers, the first one that came to mind. Ooh, Ranger Slayer would be so nice. Oh, if they did an exclusive Ranger Slayer, I'm just
These are comic book characters, and for those that don't know, Ranger Slayer is an alternate reality Kimberly from Mighty Morphin, where she
yeah.
was sort of evil and then went back to good, and she just has like a kind of a old embittered kind of like I've seen stuff, kid, and she's got like a cool
Yeah.
cape and it's like black and yeah.
In terms of villains, obviously Babu would be cool. Oh, what? The real Babu had commented about. No, I'm just kidding. I love it. Maybe they'll have Babu when I'm invited as a guest. Fingers crossed. Hey, if you get the
Yeah.
exclusive, just make sure that when we see you at Morphicon, we can get those signatures from you so we can put them up on the mantle. But
There you go.
honestly, like there's so many that I'm honestly at a loss for words of who I would want first. I could
Right.
think of Korag in either red or purple. I could think of the Psycho Rangers that we didn't get.
Oh, that's actually a really good point, but they wouldn't match the scale.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, it'd still be better
It's the
than
ultimate lose. Yeah, like
yeah.
we'll have them on there, but we'll never be satisfied unless the whole team's redone.
Right. Well,
Which
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I'd rather have it than nothing because for those that aren't unaware, the Legacy line, which Hasbro's putting out, which is now discontinued, are about what a half inch taller, maybe like maybe a full
Roughly.
inch, but it's not just the inches, the proportions are different too. So
Yeah.
that if you get
Different joints.
yeah, if you have them on the same
Everything.
shelf, not next to each other, you can kind of make it work. But if they're in the same team, it's going to be noticeable that they're the wrong scale.
Yeah.
Um, Real Babu, blah, blah. But then before that, Matt Kendall said story mode. Oh, he's talking about the game, which you were talking about. Story mode has been
Mhm.
good, but he's going to spoil anything with the Battlefield Grid story mode. Yes, please don't.
Perfect.
But glad you're enjoying it.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, you and I will actually be at San Diego Comic Con, not representing this show. I'll be there selling my comic and my art, and I will have Power Ranger art for sale.
Yep.
And the Big Dog will be there as my guest, sort of helping out, and but also running around getting me toys.
Yep.
So if anybody does end up at San Diego Comic Con, I will be at my table almost the entire time, and the Big Dog will occasionally be at my table. So feel free to
Correct.
come by and say hi and chat Power Rangers or whatever. Of course, that's still a few months away. Um,
Only 2 months, honestly.
I know I'm stressing. I got a lot to do.
As am I.
I got
I'm
a lot to
stressing
do.
in a different way than you are, but we're
I'm
both
I'm excited.
anticipating.
I've been to San Diego Comic Con many, many, many times as a guest, or not as a guest, but just as an attendee. And I've done conventions many, many, many times as someone selling, but I've never sold at San Diego Comic Con. So there's a
Yeah.
lot to prepare for and a lot of things that I'm just unsure of because I've never done it.
Yeah.
But there's actually one other big piece of Ranger-related news that we haven't touched upon at all. Do you know what it is?
Ooh, are you talking about Bat in the Sun?
Yes, I am talking about Bat in the Sun.
Yes. We're synced up.
Yeah, here it
So,
is.
so I'm going to lead with the limited amount of information I have, and
Go.
please feel free to take
I
over.
don't have much more, so go ahead.
So, this has been shared around most of the actors that are both in it and some that aren't.
Mhm.
And all we know is Bat in the Sun, for those who don't know, is a YouTube channel that's made popular by their series called Superpower Beatdown.
Yep.
There have been 2 Power Rangers related episodes, Green Ranger versus Ryu, and from Street Fighter, and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat versus White Ranger.
Real quick,
And
didn't they have a third one that was like Street Fighter versus
oh,
Power Rangers?
yes and no. So they
Okay.
did a short trailer to tie into the game where Street Fighter characters were being introduced to Legacy Wars. So they
Right.
got
Only
uh,
the mobile version game, not the one on consoles. Yeah.
correct. So they had it where Ryu, spoiler alert, actually became a ranger
Right.
and was canon in the game where he was the Phoenix Ranger or something like that. But it was cool. But you are correct. They did do a short film or trailer for that. But with this, all we know so far, originally when I looked, I honestly thought it was Star Wars based on
Oh,
the
because
helmets.
yeah.
They look like kind of bounty hunter stormtrooper esque. And then as we saw more, and it was very clear that these were color coded, I was like, oh dang, oh, is it up? Up, it's
Yeah.
Rangers. Okay. So as we take a look, oh, sorry, go for
Well,
it.
I was gonna say that's the big question because they're not saying it's Power Rangers. So is it actually tied into the universe as some sort of future alternate story, or is it let's get some Power Rangers actors and put them in an action movie with some sci-fi armor and not call it Power Rangers, but everybody knows it? You know, like that's what I'm wondering.
Different shrugs this week, but
Yeah.
shrugs nonetheless.
Yeah.
One thing I did like, though, that was a cool little nod to those that do like Power Rangers, whether or not, as you mentioned, it's
Mhm.
tied in or not, is each actor or actress in their photo that's color coded is the color of the Ranger they were
Right.
within their respective series.
Yes.
So we have Time Force Red, Jason Font as the Red Ranger. We have Yoshi Sudarso as Blue from Dino Charge. We have, I totally forgot her name, but she was from Ninja Steel.
Oh,
As
I couldn't remember it. I wrote it down. It's Christy Ann. I don't know if that's her first and last name or
I think she has another last name. I think that may be her real name, but
okay.
she is the Pink Ranger. And then I
Ninja
keep wanting to
Studio.
say, and that was for Ninja Steel.
Yep.
And then what is Gia's real name from
Sierra Hana.
Sierra Hana, thank you. For Super Mega Force and Mega Force Yellow. And then, of course, we have a hooded, mysterious figure who is Jason David Frank.
What about this guy down here?
And the Black Ranger, who I'm terrible at names
Johnny Young
today.
Bosch.
Thank you. Johnny Young Bosch, who was in 3 different Ranger series, Mighty Morphin, Zeo, and Turbo.
Yep.
And it looks cool. I'm keeping an open mind. The one thing that I would say frustrates me about Bat in the Sun, which is totally understandable on their end, is it takes a really long time for their stuff to come out. But they'll start promoting it.
Yeah.
way too far in advance, in my opinion.
Agreed, because when you see this, you feel like, oh, maybe next month it'll come out, and it could be
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, that actually happened with Jason David Frank was in Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, and I started seeing stuff about it like over a year ago.
Right.
And then it finally came out.
Hey, it's our old buddy. Oh man, a kid Dragu.
Aki Dragu.
Aki Dragu. Damn, I always get it wrong. We're talking about Power Rangers in general, and specifically this new film that a bunch of Power Ranger actors are going to be put in on by Bat in the Sun that does Superpower Beatdown, and that's what's on the screen right here. And then Matt Kendall-Clare, great job with the names, guys. Thank you. Sierra Hana I knew, and Johnny Hibachi I knew, but I do have a little cheat sheet as well for the ones that I might not remember.
I'll never forget Jason Font.
No, you have quite a non-history with him. Did we ever tell that story?
No, should I?
Yeah, why not? It's a hiatus week. Let me give you the one shot.
So,
story time.
Power Morphicon 2016 in Pasadena, California. Gazbot, myself, and his wife Q, all were staying at the same hotel that a lot of Ranger actors were at. And one night, Gaz and I realized that we're on the same floor as Michael Copone and Jason Font. So we go out, or no, we come in and we make eye contact, but we're not going to bother him. We're just kind of do what we're doing. And we get in the elevator, and we're in the same elevator. And then we go to the same floor. And then we're a couple rooms apart and not acknowledging each other, just kind of, look, not even do a head nod, no acknowledgement whatsoever.
No, not even eye contact.
Yeah.
I feel like when we got in the elevator, but I feel like when we got in the elevator, or like one of those times at least, it was literally a thing where and we were not trying to bother him, but but it was a thing where he might have been like looking toward, like the camera is us, and we walk in the room and he's like, just like, oh, what's on the ceiling? Just
away.
Just like.
And that's fine. And I understand at these shows that fans talk to the actors. They sometimes end of the day tired, don't want that. Totally understandable. Go to our room, put some stuff down, get money, whatever. Back out of the room, go downstairs to go to the gas station across the street to get something to drink or a treat, something of the sort. So we walk over. Start shopping around. Oh, new customers coming in. Who is it? Oh, Jason Font and his family.
Yep.
Okay. Look at each other. Just maybe 5 to 10 minutes since the last non-interaction. Nothing said. No eye contact. Whatever. Do our thing. Go back. Wait a little bit at the light. Go back to the hotel. Oh, get in the elevator. Who's there again? Oh, Jason Font again. Great. So then go back to the floor. No contact. Walk. No contact, and it got to the point where I really wish we all just acknowledged it.
Yeah.
It was more awkward by us mutually ignoring each other than just saying, oh, hey.
What made it weird, and I want to be clear, Jason Font and it was not being a jerk in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to.
Yeah, not at all.
But it was a thing where we would see him around, and other actors around in the hotel. But especially this one day, this 24-hour period, we ran into each other like 10 times in all different places. Not at the con, just in the city. And if you would run into anybody, even if you didn't know them, you'd be like, oh, it's you again. Or just sort of like, oh, we keep running into each other.
Just some passive comment.
But because we were trying not to be fanboys about it, not bother him, it just became kind of a weird, awkward thing that we weren't acknowledging it.
It was, it's a funny story, which is why we always talk about it. But I personally haven't talked to him. He seems like a cool guy, but it's just one of those funny things that.
Yeah, I've never heard a bad story about him. This is not a bad story. It's just a sort of a funny, goofy thing. And I briefly talked to him at the Power Morphicon Express I was just at. I gave him one of the headshots I did of him. He was very nice. I met his wife. She was very nice. So yeah, I've nothing bad to say about either one of them. It was just a funny, weird story that year.
Yeah. But that was the mild story time I have today from past PMCs. But Matt Kendall-Clare agrees that's a lot of coincidences.
Yes. All right. So I'm out. My notes are done. There was a lot of news this week, but we have hit everything I had. I gave out the prizes. Is there anything else you had on your mind that you wanted to discuss, news or otherwise?
One thing that I noticed, and I know you had posted this in the group the other day, but people are putting on social media, those that are in the Beast Morpher cast, they're this has been so great. I have a new family with all these friends that I've made, and
Right.
such a great experience. Oh my gosh, Beast Morphers is wrapped. What a great season.
Yes.
And we all, in mutual agreement, were thinking that a little early. We haven't seen everything, kind of odd timing, but
Yeah.
whatever. And actually, on my drive over here, I thought, we haven't seen something like this in prior seasons, at least in my experience, except for at Power MorphCon, well after the season's wrapped and they pass the torch
Right.
as the new Rangers are revealed, which made me think, and I'm both excited and scared for this concept, that this may be the beginning of non-super seasons and a brand new cast coming.
No, I think you're mistaken.
Really?
Let me pause real quick just
Okay.
to address chat. Real Babu, did I mention the story to him? I did not mention the story to him because it was really more the Bigdawg story. I was there, but the Bigdawg was the one that was like, what, again? What are the chances? You know, like I was not as affected by it, and I couldn't think of a way to bring it up because we only talked for like a minute, you know, and I didn't want to like be like, oh, by the way, my friend and me, you know, like I think I would have weirded him out.
Remember 2.5 years ago
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
awkwardly ran into two individuals?
If I had a real conversation with him, like where we really sat down and talked, the way you and I did, Steve, then yes, I would have brought it up, but it wasn't that much of a conversation. Matt Canaclair, Scott of Renegade Studios Games mentioned the Heroes of the Grid stuff is on the way to various ports.
Nice.
And Aki Dragu, I was too late this week. For what? I don't know what you're too late for, but feel like
You're not too late for story time.
No, not too late for story time. So one thing I said earlier is one of the posts of the actors saying goodbye. I think it was Abe. Oh man, AB Baby. That's not his real name. It's Abraham something. But he even referred to himself as AB Baby in the post. So I'm not trying to be derisive. That's just how I'm remembering it. Who plays Gold, basically.
Yeah.
He was saying that he was there for 9 months and they filmed 44 episodes. So unless season 1 is 44 episodes, which what we know about the legality of Nick, it isn't, there will either be a super season or there will be, Zoojer footage transformed to Beast Morphers, which I've heard people mention, which I think would be kind of cool. We'd get a Megaforce, Super Megaforce kind of thing. But there will be 44 episodes, which I was saying also it's odd because we've seen 8. and yeah, so I'm sorry to say that I don't think we're going to be done with super seasons at least until the end of the Nick contract. I'll go so far as to say, though, I would like to go back to how it used to be, where we hang on to the cast for multiple seasons. They could evolve, get new powers, but they get to build and grow over time. And as they get older, as the actors decide to move on, you bring new ones in. But like those first couple of years, that's why a lot of people remember those characters the most, whether it's the heroes, the villains, whatever, because they got to be on it for several years at a time. And so nothing against the newer seasons, and we both really enjoy this season, but no matter how good they are, they get a year to 2 years tops, and then they're out. So there's only so much they could do.
True.
But yeah, I'm killing your hope right now. We will see a super season.
I wasn't aware. Well, I am holding out hope for the Zoojer kind of.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I would like
just because from Hasbro's perspective, the part that I liked and was scared of is, oh, we need to sell new toys that people will for sure buy next year this time, which I'm like, yeah, that's money that I have to spend, but yeah, I like Power Rangers and let's get new toys. Versus where I know you and I have definitely fallen into this, where in the super seasons, we haven't always gotten the super versions.
Correct.
Like Dino Charge was a prime example where there were 3 to 4 different
There was
versions
too many.
Just the main core team, where there was the regular, there was the Dino Drive, there was Dino Super Drive, and then the core 5 Rangers all had metallic variants available at Walgreens.
That was too much. And they weren't different enough. It wasn't like they all just got more spikes, and they all got the same more spikes, so it wasn't even each one was different. So yeah, but with Megaforce and Super Megaforce, whatever you think of those seasons, it was cool that they evolved. I mean, again, it reminded me of old Power Rangers when Mighty Morphin became Zeo and then became Turbo, and that kind of thing. Matt Kendall Clare, it's unfortunate the second seasons, but I agree with Gaz that he's right about Beast Morphers having 44 episodes split over 2 years. Yeah, I mean that's just unfortunate math and law, or policy, I shouldn't say law, that we know about Nickelodeon. It's the Nick Law. So I guess one other thing I could bring up is we have a lot of episodes before Beast Morphers come back, and we've been filling them with Q&A, and we had a lot of news this week. Last week we played the game, and all that's fine and fun. But I've actually been thinking, I got to figure out the tech side of this, of if we could maybe do some interviews. I had someone approach me about wanting to be on the show, not directly related to Power Rangers, but a Sentai creator, or Tokusatsu creator. They have a comic book, and they do sort of like little live action things on YouTube, and so it might be fun to talk to them and get their point of view and stuff, and something to break up the monotony of just you and me talking to each other.
Just a couple of ramblers.
Yeah, so in the next few weeks, I'm going to talk to them and see, maybe reach out to a few other people, you know, and see the interest level of people being on the show. And also, I got to figure out the tech side of it. Because for those that don't know, this is, I've been doing YouTube for a while, but usually it's just one camera pointed at me. The stuff going on here is all stuff I figured out very, very recently. And I know how to get 2 people on easily. I have no idea how to get 3 people on. I know it's possible, and I know there are ways to do it. And Erzuki, my wife, is more tech savvy than me, so I might have to talk to her a bit. But so it's a combination of having the time to figure out the tech side and talking to certain people to see if they would like to be guests. All right, the real Babu, I was going to ask you. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but yes, of course, if we could have you on, that would be amazing.
Look at that. 2 lined up in less than a minute.
You were literally the next person I was thinking of when I got the idea to start doing them, but I didn't want to put you on the spot. But yeah, okay, so now I have even more incentive. I got to figure out the tech side, and then we'll get some guests lined up.
It's all on you, Gaz. All of it. Look at this. All this pressure and responsibility, you.
So I don't know if that'll happen next week, but over the hiatus we'll have a couple interviews. Hopefully one of them with the real Babu. So we're not even at an hour yet, but I'm kind of running out of steam. Is there anybody in the chat? Do you got any questions, suggestions for next week? Anything you want to discuss? Any news we maybe forgot? And while they're thinking of that, Bigdawg, what Ranger toys, vintage Ranger toys, would you still be looking for that you no longer have? Because I know we have a toy show coming up where we're going to be selling. Is there anything, and it might not be there, but just like what would be the thing that you'd be super excited to see if it showed up?
The one thing I'm constantly looking for, and very casually, is I have most of the Alien Rangers / Kaku Rangers set of the vintage figures, and I'm still missing yellow. But I have the rest of the team, and I have all of the Battle Borgs. So that's what I've been looking for. There's certain Zords I think I would actually pull the trigger on. I finally got the head of the Astro Megazord from In Space. I got it a while ago, but that was what I was looking for.
I need the head as well. You helped me get the Megazord ship for like $1, I think.
Yeah,
which was great. But without the head, yeah, it's a little bit of, it's always the ship.
To be honest though, that one is a Zord I'm really happy about, where you can have it as a ship and it's still great.
I agree. And actually, since I got the In Space Legacy figures with the Build-A-Figure of the Astro Megazord, that's fine too. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Chat's getting crazy. Hold on. Dolly's saying I could do it. Matt Kendall Claret wanted to ask about my trip to Florida. Then Dolly Girl, for no reason whatsoever, said Mario, and we move on ignoring it. Matt Kendall Claret, yeah.
Mario.
Oh, and somebody said Luigi. I don't even know what they're talking about. Let's ignore that. I think we're having a bad connection there.
Dolly Girl and Aki Drago, thank you very much for bringing back the Mario Luigi conspiracy of Beast Morphers.
My trip to Florida was good. Thank you for asking. Actually, at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to put it up real quick because the Bigdawg didn't see it.
Action activate!
That was not me. That was my buddy Chris who visited us one day, and I had him do a little action activate because he had a GoPro that worked in the water. So I was like, yell action activate. So I threw that up there to start the show this week. And I also nothing Power Ranger related, but art related. I went to a couple comic stores. I do a kaiju comic, like more of a Godzilla type thing, called the Horror Ray 4, and I went to a couple comic shops that now will carry my comic, which I try to do whenever I go on vacation anywhere. So I live in California, and it's very grassroots the way I distribute it, but I have books in New Jersey, Delaware, Florida, Illinois, and like one other state, because I've gone to those states and said, hey, you want to carry my comic? And they've been like, yeah, okay. So let's see. Couldn't resist.
Aki Drago, let's forget that rumor. So I don't think I fully. Also, Glad you're back. I'm glad you had a fun trip.
Yeah, I got really burned the first day, actually.
That's what you were saying, and
yeah.
all I imagined was just red.
Well,
all red.
Here's the thing. I am very white, and I am a very burnable guy. And I
What?
don't. Yeah, I know. I don't go out in the sun very often, and when I do, I use sunscreen. Like I'm not. And so we were out for a couple hours, and I used sunscreen like once an hour. I was reapplying every time I got out of the water. I was being very conscientious.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I got burned on my knees a little bit when I was sitting on the chair. And then after the beach, there was like a pool at the place we were staying. So we went in the pool, and I think that's when I got burned because I was sort of like this on the edge of it talking to people. And I think I missed like an application. So for like a half hour, but it was just enough that all up here, like I think it's mostly done now, but you can see there's like peeling. Can you see that on the camera? I don't know if you could tell. But this was like a week ago, so I'm okay now.
Yeah.
But it was like where I couldn't sit properly. And
it's the worst. I went on a trip to Cabo a couple years ago, and I've never been so burned. But same spot that you're talking about, and you can't sit, you can't lay down to sleep. It's just
stunk.
The worst.
Yeah. So for a few days, I was just putting aloe on constantly, and whatever. But I actually the next day, because we were there to be at the beach and be outside for a week, and what was I going to not do that the rest of the trip? So and Erzuki also got a little bit of burn on her shoulders, not as bad as me, but still pretty good. So we went to a surf shop and bought these shirts that are like SPF 50 light shirts, and so we wore long sleeve shirts and like bandanas and still put sunscreen on everything else. So we looked like these weird mummy albinos for the rest of the trip, but I didn't get burned again, and now I'm more or less okay.
You were Caliban from X-Men?
Yes, I was Caliban from X-Men. We are getting way off topic, but yeah.
Hey, that's what the whole ramblings is about.
I guess that's true. I did buy some toys, but no Power Ranger toys, unfortunately. I was looking. I hit a couple Targets trying to find Wave 2, but couldn't find any.
I just went to a Target today and no luck.
Yeah. I have to go to one in a little while, so maybe after the show I'll find something. Maybe I'll have something to report. If I find anything, I'll put it up on the Facebook group. And there's the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Let's see. I turned into a lobster. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I burned my calves once. Ooh, yeah. The legs and the shoulders, from my experience, are the worst, just because you don't realize how much interaction your
and the movement
body gets with other things. Yeah, either movement or just like, I sit a lot. I don't really notice when, okay, ow, just anything touching. Yeah, it's very humbling, I will say. It's like when you have a cold and then you don't have a cold anymore, and you're like, wow, I take breathing for granted.
Absolutely. The real babu or a construction worker when I was all bandaged up, that I look like a construction worker, or not bandaged, but covered up. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because they're outside. Although I see a lot of construction workers that just have like a super deep tan that never goes away. I've seen that too.
There may be like a certain level where you're like, nah, I can't get worse than what I'm already at.
Right, yeah. You getting some love for your Secret Wars shirt.
Ooh, thank you very much. I'm a fan of it. It's got a nice
let me give you a one shot. I'm blocking you a little bit.
Quad,
that's me. There's you. It's a pop. Yeah, that's nice. Did you get your new shirt? There was a Power Rangers Avengers Endgame
I still haven't got it, but did I tell you I ordered that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's how I know.
Okay, good. I haven't gotten it yet, but when I do, I will definitely wear it for the show, just because.
Nice.
So cool.
Nice.
But your original question, I think I mostly answered it. If I think of something else, I will answer it. But I turn the question back onto you.
Oh, I should have known you were going to do that, and I didn't think about it.
100%.
I guess, getting some Battleborgs would be nice. I have 2 of the 5, like what you're speaking of. Yeah. I almost have the same answer. Like, I'd like to get a Shogun Megazord, but there's the vintage. If I knew they were coming out with a Bandai Soul Chogokin, I wouldn't want the vintage. But I don't have any representation of that robot at all. So if I could find one cheap enough, I'd get that. Otherwise, that's the main one that comes to mind. There's probably something else I'm forgetting, but I've been pretty lucky, and I've got a lot of the things that I most wanted. There's not a ton I'm dying for.
That you didn't know you wanted.
Yeah, it's more the things that I didn't know that I wanted. It might also be from seasons I haven't seen. Like, funny enough, I talk about how I haven't seen SPD, and everyone's like, you gotta watch SPD. I'll get there. I just started working on, Dino Thunder, and then I got Mystic Force and SPD, and but I actually have, I have 3, which I think is all of the Zords from SPD. I have the regular one, then I have the SWAT one that's black, and then I have the Command Center. And I got them because they look like awesome toys, and they have
Yep.
awesome light and sound. And even if I didn't watch Power Rangers, I like robots, and they're just cool on my shelf. And all three of them I got for very cheap because I got them at flea markets and garage sales and stuff. So it wasn't like I was on eBay looking for them. It's just like, what's this
Yeah.
cool robot? Oh, it's actually Power Rangers. Oh, it's pretty cheap. And so one of my most complete collections is SPD, even though I've never seen SPD.
Yeah, it's funny that some of your most prevalent Zords on your Power Rangers display are from 2 seasons you have never watched an
Because
episode.
also Mystic Force. Yeah.
The big line, oh, that line Zord is perfect.
It's so fun. It like transforms. The line goes. But again, I don't even know what it is. I don't even know the name of it off the top of my head. But it's a great toy and a great
Manticore Zord.
Manticore Zord. Thank you.
There we go. One thing I actually did just think of, I'm always looking for Wild Force Zords, but the problem is, so is everyone else.
I was gonna say I would like the Predazord from Wildforce.
I would
to
like
get that.
all the Zords because A, you can swap them all out and it works so well together, and B, they're, from my understanding, some of the best American and Japanese overlap Zords, where just like Bruno
Almost
from
identical.
from MMPR Toys is like, oh yeah, they're great. You should get all of them.
Yeah,
Like,
I've heard the same.
You're right. I agree with you 100%.
So let me see how we're doing on time. So it's been almost an hour. Matt Kendall Clare says, "Cool with getting all three SPD Megazords." Yeah, like I said, I don't know if there's another auxiliary or something that I'm missing, and you don't need to tell me. I'll find out eventually. But the command center actually, it might be missing a piece or two, but it's otherwise in good shape. And I got that one for $20, and I was so happy.
Nothing.
It wasn't at a toy show. It was at a flea market by here, and it was one of those things where like I'm always more excited. Like if there's somebody that's like a toy vendor and they're there every week, that's fine. But when someone just cleans out their garage, you never know what you're gonna find. And that's what this was. There's a pile of tons of stuff. There's like, winter coats next to a tire, next to a pile of Spider-Man figures, and then this big dog robot thing. And I'm like, that kind of looks like Power Rangers, but I want it either way. And it was a thing where I think they wanted a little bit more, but it was kind of dirty. Like I had to clean it, not like gross, but like just like it had been sitting somewhere where dirt had gotten on it. And I was like, well, I got to clean it. Would you take 20? And they're like, yeah. And so I was like, awesome. And it's like the biggest one I own now.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to say, not to take away from what Gaz just said, but also on the flip side, you could go to flea markets, garage sales, and find absolutely nothing.
Yes.
So it's a total catch.
It absolutely is. Because you have a similar one. I don't remember the cost, but you have Pyramidas.
You got me Pyramidas at a flea market, and it's so cool.
Yeah, but similarly, but that flea market I've gone to a bunch, and sometimes I found nothing or very little. So it's very random. So you go to a toy show, you're gonna find something. You go to a flea market, who knows? But I like as much as I don't like being in the sun, I like being outside doing things. I don't like getting sunburn. It was a steal. Dolly Girl, can we send you guys gifts? I guess we don't need gifts. We're not requesting gifts, but that's a very lovely thought.
Yeah, it's very nice of you.
I don't know. I've been looking into setting up a PO box anyway for my own purposes, for my art business. I guess if I get that going, we could throw that up, and then if people want to send us stuff, sure, that'd be awesome. Certainly not necessary or expected, but who's gonna say no to a gift?
Exactly. No, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say on the point of the flea markets things, I think looking back, most of my vintage collection that I didn't have from when I was a kid was, I think, almost 100% from flea markets and toy shows.
Yeah. Well, I also collect Transformers, and I have a pretty large G1 like 80s Transformers collection. Very few of them are from like toys when I had as a kid. Most of them I got at flea markets and yard sales, but like a couple of years before everyone realized what everything was worth, including me. So I have, figures that are $20, $30, $50 figures that I paid $1 for. But I did this 15 years ago, 10 years ago. So it wasn't like I was ripping anybody off. It was just like, that's what everything cost at a flea market back then, So I was lucky, but I live in constant fear that if one of them breaks, I can't replace it for $1 or $5. It's like this $50 figure that I got for $1. Oh my God, if it ever breaks, I'll never be able to replace it. So.
Yeah, that's the thing with that specifically for kind of any toys that you get from that. There's kind of a cost analysis that I know I've done, and Gaz just mentioned, where if you get it for so cheap, how much are you willing to spend if you need to replace a piece or buy this accessory or just replace it altogether? And there are some, unfortunately, where I'm like, yep, I guess I'm not replacing it. Like I have a Korag figure I got a couple years ago off of a Facebook group, and it took a shelf dive. and the knee just snapped right off. And it's such a great figure. And I told Gaz at the time, I'm like, this is great. You need to find one.
Yep.
This is our mission to find you one. And I had it, and it was on the shelf, and I had it next to my Titanium Ranger from the Super Legends line from back then. Oh,
Right.
my gosh.
I understand. I feel your pain.
And you had a shelf dive with a Ranger as well.
I did.
It was your favorite Ranger of all time.
Well, one of my favorite Rangers of all time. Let's put it that way. But it was TJ from In Space, but it was a metal figure because it was the Japanese Mega Ranger version, and he took a shelf dive and it broke in a way that couldn't be fixed. People told me it could be fixed, but it wouldn't be the same. But I was able to get one replacement for the same basic price I paid for it. I got really lucky that it wasn't a very expensive figure, and it worked out.
Thankfully.
Yeah. Speaking of gifts, the Real Babu Trojans would say no, which took me a second, but yes, the Trojan horse. No, we don't want your gifts. Get out of here with you. This is how Trojans suck. Hey, you, get out of here. Well, actually, no, wasn't it? Wait, was it? Now, here's where I fail at history, because was it the Trojans that were giving a gift to the Greeks, or the Greeks giving a horse to the Trojans? It was a Trojan horse.
I think it was the Trojans to the Greeks. We can fact check that at some point, but I'm pretty sure the horse was Trojan, full of Trojans, went in.
That's kind of what I thought. Okay, so then the Greeks were like, hey, get out of here with your horse, because that's why it didn't sound right when I thought I was a Trojan. That's the Greek accent.
No, they didn't. That's why we have this fact and story right now. No. That they were like, oh, free gift, thank you so much.
You're right. So they said, hey, get in here with that horse.
Hurry up with your gift.
Give me your horse, but I guess now they don't. But wait, but there's also a saying, beware Greeks bearing gifts, which is a bit racist, but I've heard it. So wouldn't that imply that it was the Greeks? Again, we could look this up, but we're not going to. So
this is Power Rangers.
Yes, this is Power Rangers.
This isn't history of ancient Greece.
That's true.
No, it is a good point. It's one that, if anything, now the second this is over, I'm going to Google that. So thank you very much, Joe, about this.
Mecca LeClaire, has anyone watched Brendan Mejia's recent review? I haven't. But there's no new episodes. Or was it the last episode? You mean? I haven't.
The season?
I know he did one. He was like away at a show, and he did one from his hotel room. I think that was the last one I saw. I think that was Power Morphicon, actually.
Yeah,
me and my voices.
We skipped one from Dolly Girl. I mean, I could be on the lookout here in Florida. If you make a list or something of ones you are looking for, oh, well, that's very nice as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, when I was where I was in Florida was Daytona Beach, and there was a flea market, a large indoor flea market, and one day we went there, and it was not good. They had I think they had one or two stores that would have toys, and they were closed. I don't know why. Like the rest of it was open, but they were closed, and everything else was mostly like T-shirts and like knives and food. And the thing is, it repeated. So it was a very large flea market, but it was like, okay, there's a guy selling a bunch of biker T-shirts. There's a guy selling a bunch of knives. There's some funnel cake. Then the next row, oh look, it's a bunch of biker T-shirts. It's like what? It's the same thing. Like so it was not good for toys or comics or anything like that, unfortunately. But I did look there. Dolly Girl, I'm Greek. I got nothing against
I'm
Greeks.
Greek too, so don't worry. That's why I've predisposed Gaz to, being wary. He's acclimated.
I got no hate for anybody.
That's true. The only thing we hate, I mean, hate's a strong word, but out of all the Rangers on this season, some I like more than others.
You had to. You see, we almost got through without the Mario thing. That came up. Then we almost got through without. I shouldn't even address it.
We need to let the listeners know the feelings if they're either going week to week or have been with us since day zero. We gotta let them know.
Brendan did a review of episode 6 recently. I don't remember if I've seen it, but I do watch his review, so I'll check it out if I haven't. That's on YouTube for those that are wondering. It's under his name, Brendan Mejia. Dolly Girl, I've been to a big outdoor flea market in Daytona. It was mostly indoor, so we might have been to different ones, and now I'm annoyed if there was a good outdoor one that I didn't go to it. Although I might have been too sunburned to have been able to, depending on the day.
True. You're just holding a jacket over your head. Like, how much are the Transformers? Okay.
Do you have robots for a sun-adverse invalid that can't really move his arms properly? Actually, I couldn't do this.
If I buy those Transformers, is that umbrella free? This is getting very cumbersome.
Oh man! All right. Well, this has been fun, but I think we could call it a show at this point. Yeah. And then next week, it might be more the same. It might be an interview, or maybe we'll have another game or something. So if you have any suggestions, questions, anything like that, throw it up on the Facebook page. We'll take a look. And regardless, thanks for being here live. Thanks for watching on Facebook later. Yep. And as always, I'm Gazbot Knight.
And I am the Big Dawg Defender.
And may the power protect you.
See you guys later.